Live.
We're live. Hi, I'm Stephen Sashin from XeroShoes.com. You can see, oh my God, this is the closest thing to Barefoot in my horribly messy office. And we're here with Khanh Nguyen, who just did my favorite thing. We've already revealed the punchline. What I've been saying is Bigfoot climbed the stratosphere, but you, in fact, were Bigfoot.
Yes.
Here, wait. Let me show. I'm gonna show. Let me see if I can do this. I want to see if I can show a picture or a couple of pictures of you. Where's it? That's capture. Where's the? I'm trying to find the thing over here. Screen share. Let me do screen share and show a couple of pictures, and you can describe what happened. Let's see. It's desktop number 2. Start screen share. Click. Okay, wait. I don't want to do this one yet. Let me back up. No, that's actually a good one. So this is before you started running, and people might not recognize you. Explain what's happening here, sir.
Oh, I was at the starting line. This is my yeah.
Here. I'll click back to there. All right, go ahead. So I can't zoom in on that, unfortunately, but people can see. This is from the Las Vegas Review. So tell everyone what's happening here.
Well, basically, I'm at the start of my heat. It was 9:30, and I'm standing there, and I just stretched my foot, literally my foot, and then now I'm kind of doing some knee stretching.
Wait, you got.
And so
hold on. You have to back up a little bit.
Sure.
People don't recognize you not because you're stretching. They don't recognize you because you're wearing a Bigfoot Xero Hero costume.
And on top of that, an elevation mask.
Right. So let's back up and tell the story of. Wait. I want to see if I can find some other photos first, because I think this one. Where's this photo? That's the Facebook one. Here's a Pinterest photo. That's you actually already making it there. I don't want that one. There's one other.
That's right before the finish line. Yeah, that's
right.
crossing the finish line.
Here's you. Let's see if we can get to this one. Here's you just before you're starting.
Yes.
So I think this is a good place to pause and have a chat about what's happening here. So I will confess, what happened is I sent you this costume. We used this originally at the Outdoor Retailer Show, and you had the ridiculous idea to wear this as you climbed the stratosphere. And the stratosphere climb was not just you doing this for no apparent reason. There's an actual cause. Do you want to say more about what the event was and describe not only why, but what you had to do?
Sure. The event is essentially one of the big annual fundraiser for the American Lung Association here in Vegas, and it's a big event. I think they ended up raising almost $150,000, which is awesome.
That's great.
And it's in the 6th year running, so really good. It's got a lot of history, and I've always wanted to do it, and so this is my first year. And what the event is mainly you are literally just running up the stairs, from the bottom of the stratosphere all the way to the top, and it's 108 floors in total.
And there's you coming up to the top.
Yep, that's the finish line That's the finish line picture.
That's pretty good. You look, not too much worse for the wear.
No, I think my finish time was around 14 minutes, and my brother was commenting because he's kind of like me. He likes to go biking. He's very active. And he said, "Well, that's pretty good, given that you had that whole Bigfoot on you. I wonder what your time would be if you didn't." And I was like, "Yeah, but I do it for the fun of it too." So. But I know that I took the mask off just to get it in a good time, because with the mask I would have been really slow.
Yeah, so explain to people, for those who don't know, what the mask is.
The mask is essentially an elevation mask, and what it does is you have different settings that will restrict your air intake and simulate the oxygen deprivation when you're working out in higher elevation, and that just is more physically taxing on your body when you have the mask on. And I normally train with it, but my brother, as a dare, maybe told me to wear it for the actual climb.
So I don't know which part I like more, just that you had the idea of, hey, let's do this really difficult thing and make it harder, or now knowing that it was just your brother daring you and you didn't say, no, I don't think so.
Well, the funny thing is, people, the surprise that people get, threefold, right? So first, here's a guy that's going to scale the stratosphere in what look like sandals to them. So that usually shocks him already. And then now he's got on the Bigfoot costume. And then he's going to throw one more thing on it. He's going to throw an elevation mask on it.
I'm trying to think of. I can't even think of anything that you could have added that would have made it more ridiculous and more difficult, other than like ankle weights or carrying a barbell or like carrying someone on your shoulders all the way up the top.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you knew, but this is not the first time I've done something like this. Really, literally last April of last year, I did the Hollywood half marathon
Mm.
in my huaraches, in my board shorts and a surfboard.
Wait, hold on. I've actually got a picture of that. I'm gonna pull that one up. Hold on one sec. Now I gotta get back here, and now I'm gonna get back to share the screen again. And now let's see. I got a couple more pictures of you. And this is not to prove to anyone who might have a legal case against you that you are in fact insane, but they might use it as evidence. So this is not from the race you just described, but you can describe what you're doing here.
This is 2 years ago. This is in 2012. This was me doing Tough Mudder, and I believe I was the only guy in running sandals at this event.
And there's no evidence of any mud that I can see.
No. and really, it was kind of funny. I got into barefoot running about 2 years ago, and not barefoot running, but just to the huarache sandal, your product. And so I got, and I love this because I had run marathons before, and it got to a point where my knees were bothering me a lot, so I just stopped running as much. And so when I discovered the invisible shoes, then before you rebranded it, I started running, and it was quite a bit of a transition to get into it. But once I got into it, I just loved it. I wore it everywhere. And in fact, if you look at the picture, I converted my brother into wearing Xero shoes also. So he's the one in the mountain climber outfit there, and his huaraches.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's his Xero shoes down here. Here's yours. Wait,
Yeah.
and I know there's one more picture in here.
Yeah. So in 2012, I started running, and go ahead.
Wait, hold on. You ran this race with the surfboard?
Oh yeah. and my younger brother is on the picture in the left side, and he's in the kind of snowboarder, and he's got a snowboard with him.
Okay, wait, hold on.
And then my older brother is the one in the climbing outfit, and we're the only two guys that were running in Xero shoes.
Yeah, so I can see on the left you got two people in Xero shoes, and on the right, oh my God! And I just love the look on this cop's face.
Yeah, he's like, "What is this?" And that was a fun event. So that was in 2013. So in 2012, man. I did the Tough Mudder, and I wore the sandal as a dare because my younger brother, he's kind of crazy. He's like, "Oh, I dare you to run in your huarache sandals." I'm like, "Okay," and I'm thinking, you know what? This is probably more practical than wearing shoes. And it was kind of funny. I had a lot of people who were just reacting like, "Oh, wow, you can do that?" I'm like, "Yeah," and in fact, it was actually very useful because if I had rocks in my sandal, I would just shake it out. Right. And other people would stop, take their shoes off, take their socks off, trying to get the mud and the sand off, and I would just shake my sandal and off I go.
I got an email from some guy once. He said he was doing a run and he got hit and he had kicked a rock into his sandal. And he said, I had to keep going for 3 more miles. Like, you could have just flicked it off while you were running even. It just never even occurred to me.
Yeah, and last year was the Hollywood half marathon, and that's the one where we kind of went all out and brought the surfboard and whatnot.
Wait, hold on. I got another picture. I'm looking on my other screen to find it. It's one other picture. Oh yeah. Okay, wait. I got to share this one because you totally got to explain this. But first, while I'm setting up the share, the thing that I've learned about you in this call is that if anyone needs to get you to do anything, they just have to get your brother to dare you.
Pretty much.
Okay, let's see. Wait, hold on. Let's start the screen share on this one. So yeah, you can explain this image.
Oh, that's a fun one. This is the Tinkerbell 10K I did a couple months back with my wife. I'm usually out running, and my wife doesn't do much of that, and so I finally got her convinced to do a run, and the only reason she did it was because she was going to get to wear her Tinkerbell wings, and she get a Tinkerbell medal. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, actually, I didn't even notice her wings until you pointed that out.
Well, actually, that's a YouTube video of us running that whole thing. You can see I had my GoPro camera with me on that little stick, and I actually ran the whole race with that thing. It was fun.
Oh, you told me before that you were hoping to have the GoPro with you up the Strat. What happened with that?
Oh, they wouldn't let me. They said, well, because of security reason, they wouldn't let me at all. I mean, I would have loved to run with the GoPro the whole way, but they said no camera or cell phone allowed the whole way.
Very interesting. Yes.
Understandable too, just for security reasons.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, so you, like me, have pretty much been living in Xero Shoes. Your knee pain gone out. These are not medical prescriptions. We're not saying this happens, but I've heard this, so many times. It's just wonderful when we get to hear it again. And we're thrilled when we can find people like you, or well, really, there's no one like you, but people that we can help who are definitely getting the Xero Shoes name out there, because you're doing wonderful things and incredible things, not just running halves and running marathons, and not just doing it in Xero Shoes, which we have a lot of people doing that, but really having fun and doing some crazy things, which is a big part of our life as well. So it's wonderful to see.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just glad you not be a shod runner anymore. That's one of the big things you learn when you start, doing the barefoot, the huaraches, is you learn to just be light on your feet. I tell people who have never done this before, think of your stride as if you're riding a bicycle, right? So you want to smoothly transition. You're not going to hammer your feet. And at the very beginning, when I first started running in the Xero Shoes, that's what I had in my mind. It's like, oh, let's make my feet like bicycles and just kind of roll through, because it is a tough transition for sure for anybody to get into. I know the first probably 2 months, I used to call it burning souls is what I call it, because you really felt the bottom of your feet just burning and blistering and all of that, and it's transition. But once you've done it, you can't go back. I can't go back to running with shoes on at all, because it just slows you down.
Well, I'm going to add, your results may vary, because one of the things that's very interesting to me is people do assume that whatever their experience was with the transition, that's what it's like for everyone, which is not always the case. There are a number of people who didn't have what you described, but what you did that I really love, that I really appreciate, is that you realized quickly that the problems that you were having were form related, and that you could fix them, and that if you attended to them, that would change, and it would change your running. Some people think that, oh my gosh, I got a blister, it must be these shoes. It's like, no, it's the friction that you're creating, and that's not required. People don't have to have that, and once they get used to it, definitely don't have that. But it's a good, what's the word? It's like a good teaching aid, that if you're getting some problem that isn't inherent in the product, that if you attend to that, it'll change your form. And I love the bicycle cue. That's a really, really nice one. I like to think sometimes a variation of that is, pretend the road is a treadmill and you're just trying to catch the treadmill and get off of it before you fall on your face.
Exactly. So it definitely works. And yeah, no, it's because, and I've told friends, in fact, huarache and barefoot running is actually a better workout on your body than just stride running, because now you're activating a lot more muscles than if you were running on padded shoes. Absolutely.
I did a post about this recently. It's true, because you are using your muscles, your ligaments and tendons, instead of your joints and your bones, which is why it's arguably better for you and safer for you, and why I have a broken spine. I don't have a problem running barefoot when I'm running in, well, I can't remember the last time I ran in a padded shoe. Even walking, I had to walk in a pair of Nike Frees a couple of years ago, and within 2 days my knees were shot, my back was shot. Barefoot, I'm on a treadmill desk, I'm standing all day, not an issue. But I wrote an interesting, or what I think is an interesting post about muscle use. A lot of people think when they switch to barefoot, I'll be curious to hear your opinion, that the whole idea is you need to get stronger, you need to build up the pads on your feet, you need to build up your Achilles, you need to build up your calves, you need to build up. And I think a lot of what changes isn't getting stronger, it's getting more efficient and using less energy. So you're not pushing off the ground, you're not overstriding and decelerating, which takes a lot of energy. You're finding that right gait that you described, so you're not grabbing your foot and pulling it across the ground. That what you're discovering is the way of running that's the least effortful, even if ultimately, like you described, it might end up being more muscular and less joint impact. Your take?
I think it's true that you do have to work on your Achilles. That takes time to build, and your calves. Those become more key muscles when you're doing your huaraches and barefoot. But I find that my core is activated. My stomach. When I'm doing barefoot, I'm really using my guts to propel me forward, as opposed to just trying to kick. So there's no back kick. It's all
right.
Lifting and moving and moving forward and keeping the momentum forward. And like if you follow, read about cheat running and stuff like that, where you or prod running or what do you call it? Not what is the other running where
Pose or
cheat running, and what's the other running
well,
form? I forgot what.
there's pose method.
Pros, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
pros method is where you kind of lean forward and you kind of let the gravity takes over. So you learn all of that, and what I find is when I do that, I naturally use more of my stomach, and I'm lifting, and I use more hip. Right, I'm using more hip. I'm doing more,
Yep.
more twisting. I have to, twist my waist. So I use a lot of other mechanism. And to me, I tell my friends, when you're doing barefoot huaraches, it's a you're mechanically absorbing the shocks with your body, as opposed to relying on the cushion and having that absorb the shock. And then sometimes that could put you into a wrong routine, and you end up injuring yourself in other areas.
And that's the irony. The irony is that when you have all that cushioning under your shoe, you try to use it, and what that usually results in is having the joints deal with the impact that the cushion can't handle, and the cushion can never handle all of the impact. That's sort of the problem there. And yeah, definitely you end up using your hips a bit more. The core thing, I wrote a post about this ages ago, that Usain Bolt's coach, before he became the world champion in the 100 meters, had him doing lots and lots of core stabilization, because if you have a tighter spring from your hips up, then you're not losing energy every time you hit the ground, and that really helps move you forward. It keeps everything more efficient in that forward plane.
Yeah, definitely. And nowadays I'm crossing over to do more CrossFit, and as you can see, I'm going to do the Spartan race in about a month, and so that forces me to not only just do the running, because I'm always a runner, and for me endurance is kind of a big thing, but now that I have a Spartan race coming up, I'm definitely doing more core. I started doing push-up, pull-ups, burpees, and all that good stuff, and I find that improves my running time even.
Of course, look at me jumping up and down. Look, this is a thing that I've been saying for years, and runners just don't want to believe it. They're afraid if they take time away from the running, it'll hurt their running. But all of the research, and everyone I know who's had the courage to take a few days off and instead do some serious strength training, has found that the strength training improves their running. And everybody knows this, and almost no one does it. And it's funny, even some of the Olympic caliber runners that I'm on the track with on a daily basis, I watch what they're doing for strength training, and they're 7-year-olds who could do those workouts. They're not really pushing, they're not really building strength. They're taking a 5-pound medicine ball and throwing it over their head a few times. Like, come on, seriously, get in the weight room and do something that pushes you, and you're going to find it really helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so you got the Spartan race coming up. Anything else on your list of things to do? And what is your brother daring you to do next?
Well, that was exactly a thought in my mind. It's like, what's he going to dare me next? Well, he was daring me to do, I think, the Orange County Marathon in May. I'm thinking that's just too soon. I need a bigger break. And I've been contemplating going back and doing the San Diego Marathon. And I've done that many times in the past. And it's probably been 5 years since the last time I ran a full marathon. So I'm seriously contemplating putting that on my plate in June, so that way I'll have a good 2 months between the Spartan race and then go back and do a full marathon again. That would be nice, and that'll be my first big run with the huaraches. I've only done a half distance, half marathon, but I've never done a full before.
Sweet.
So that'll be interesting.
Awesome. Well, A, good luck. B, have fun. C, keep us posted. And D,
awesome.
Usually lists work better in threes, but I'll give you a fourth. D, thank you so much for doing the race, for raising money for lung cancer, for sharing about Xero Shoes, and sharing your time with us here today. It's been a real pleasure.
All right. Thanks, Stephen.
All right. Take care.
Bye.